Hey you guys, welcome to our sneak peek group. I'm Patty Brush. Today what I'd like to do is some introductions. So share a little bit about yourself, share what interests you on the coaching opportunity, share what your health and fitness goals are, who you are, what you're passionate about, share about your family, if you have kids, if you have dogs, if you have cats, whatever it is. And we'd just like to know a little bit about you. So you can make a video and post it in this group, or post it to comments, or you can take a picture of yourself or share a fun picture of yourself, anything that is you, and just tell us a little bit about yourself. So what I'm going to do now is just take a few minutes to share my fitness journey and how I got into Beachbody coaching. And there's a huge story behind it, but I don't want to make this video too long because I know everyone's busy, got busy lives. So a little bit about me. I'm Patty Brush. I was born and raised in Florida. I was a hockey player growing up. Crazy. I was in a family of 7 kids, and hockey was our life. We did hockey like crazy. So I was a goalie, played with my brothers. We would travel, hours to practice. I was homeschooled, so we would do our schooling at the rink. My mom was a single mom for a lot of the time from, when I was 12 on. And it was intense. It was intense. So I learned from an early age to that it was important for me to take care of myself because I was the only girl in a boys' league. And I needed to be strong and fit and healthy to be able to keep up with the guys. So I started lifting at an early age, and my mom's always been very petite and very, her weight was always a top priority, which is good, but I think it made me a little obsessive because she's very tiny. And so I noticed I was putting on a lot of muscle, and she noticed, and she'd make some comments, as I started lifting weights in my teens. But I wanted to be strong, and I liked that feeling of being strong, keeping up with the guys. So fast forward, I was about 16, turning 17, went off to Lake Placid, New York, played on the women's national team there, did some training. It was awesome. And went to Minnesota, played college hockey. I didn't really know what I was doing in college, didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to school for kinesiology, but it was just because it interested me to learn about the body. I was obsessed about weight training and nutrition, crazy obsessed, and that was something I dealt with. But wasn't sure, I didn't have a direction, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I kind of fell into fitness training. Roommate suggested, and do personal training, you love it. But I didn't really start training until later on down the road. So I was still in school, which was a whole story in itself. And I did start training, and I loved it. I loved working with people one-on-one. But starting out as a trainer, most of you know this, you make very little. So it was like $12 to $15 an hour, or $12 to $15 a session. So anyways, I started to love it, and that's what I started to do. And so I've been a fitness trainer for over 10 years now. And so I had a client who I helped lose weight. I ended up being a private trainer for a family. You see those things on The Biggest Loser where they're just working with that person like crazy. That's kind of how it was. So I would make all their meals, and I lived at their house, and I would be on call whenever they needed me, and I would meet them anywhere to be there to work out because they're busy people, busy lives, but they needed to be healthy. It was top priority. And so what happened was my client who had lost all this weight and was doing Ironman triathlons too, decided he wanted to be in the fitness industry as well. He wanted to help people make a difference. So he opened a gym, and he said, do this with me. Do this gym with me, and let's help people. And it was awesome, and I went into it, but I ran myself into the ground. So there were some years where I was also a fitness director, and I did the same thing in a gym. I just worked and worked and worked and worked, and that's what I ended up doing in his gym. And I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and I would get to the gym and make sure, to open it up, and I would teach classes and help people with their health, and then I'd go home and I'd crash. And then I'd, get up, try to do my Ironman training, and then go back to work and work with triathletes, because I also became a USA Triathlon Level 1 coach. Crazy. And I worked with triathletes in swimming, biking, running sessions, and I'd go home and I'd be exhausted. And I also have endometriosis, which is a condition where, I dealt with a lot of hormonal issues, and my body I would get my period for, months at a time sometimes. And it was a hard thing to deal with, putting all of this into somebody else's business, even though I dearly loved them and I loved what they stood for, but I was exhausted and falling apart. So I found myself really struggling, and I couldn't make it work. And then life got even more crazy. My mom got cancer, and it was the hardest thing, and I couldn't always go home. She lived in Florida, to be with her. She'd go through radiation and chemo, and I'd fly home for a weekend, and I'd have to get back. And it was hard, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like not having this freedom. My body was falling apart. I was still training for an Ironman. And then things got even more intense. I was hit by a car while running, and I couldn't train. So how I would deal with my issues, I couldn't deal with them. I couldn't deal with the stress, and my body was falling apart. I was working myself into the ground for this family in the gym, and I started praying out to God and just like, God, there's got to be something more. I'm obsessed with my health. I'm obsessed with wanting to feel good, but it's to a point where it's unhealthy, and I can't teach people how to feel their best if I can't do it myself. So what happened was, I had always heard about Beachbody, P90X, Insanity, different programs, but I had seen a post on Facebook through a mutual friend on Beachbody coaching and the opportunity, and about being able to have freedom and work online as a fitness and health coach, and just helping people through their journey. So I thought, I never ever click on stuff on Facebook, and never ever. I would always be like, oh, whatever, it's just a scheme, like that's not real. And this time I did. I clicked on it, and I was just honestly at a time where I was praying, crying out to God that there's got to be something more here. And I clicked on it, and there was an invite to a sneak peek group, and my sister kind of got involved too, but that's a different story. But there was an invite to a sneak peek group, and so I was like, whatever, I'll do it. I'll do a sneak peek. I'll check it out, a couple days. It can't be anything too crazy. And I was absolutely in shock that I could have the freedom and become a coach, help people online, and so I signed up and I became a coach. And it was after my third Ironman. My body was falling apart. Started with PiYo, and there's a whole lot more to that story, but that's how I got started, and that's who I am, and my past, and what got me to Beachbody. So without taking up more of your time, I'll end it there, and tomorrow we'll talk about the coaching biz, and what is coaching, and what do we do, and what is all this craziness. So just again, share a little bit about yourself, and I can't wait to hear more about you.